There's a certain symmetry to the storytelling in 1972's Jeremiah Johnson. Known as a chiasmus, the story is told via a sequence of events that, once it reaches a central point, it reverses upon itself, revisiting past events, people or places, which we see again as though through new, more experienced, more learned, through maybe more weary eyes, having seen and learnt all that we've been through. I'm afraid there will be one or two spoilers here, but in a way it's the type of movie where it's not so much the destination or even events within the journey itself that is the point, but it's about the experience of the journey and what it does to a person. The movie Jeremiah Johnson, with screenplay by Edward Anhalt and John Milius, insists on the viewer's participation. It says, "We're going on this journey together. I'm alone, you're alone. Let's look together, on my own, on your own, at how this journey changes us." So, although I will be pointing out the key events here, I do recommend watching the movie if you haven't seen it in a while. It certainly holds up, and you'll reach the end feeling, let's just say, you'll be in no doubt that you've been somewhere, and you've done some things, and seen some more. And, well, if and you don't wear a bearskin outfit and have the scars to show it, you wear them on the inside. 'Cause you've been over them mountains and know. Yes, sir, you know.
Hungry too, huh? Come on!
First up, after leaving what we used to call civilization, Johnson ventures forth and immediately learns he has no clue. He makes a mess of everything and is witnessed by this guy. A fella by the name of paints his shirt red. He just looks and walks away, certain no doubt that this here pilgrim ain't gonna last too long. If and he had to fix it to killing, well, let's just say it's not worth getting off his horse for. Now Johnson chances upon an old hunter by the name of Bearclaw, who gives him something of a schooling in the ways of mountain living. Yes, sir, they say old Bearclaw had seen it all, and he even passed some of what he had knowed on to Jeremiah over those few weeks or months they'd done work together. The youngster took a lot of learning, but wasn't a farin' to get stuck in neither. Settlers next. Jeremiah found them holed up in a cabin they made, and although it looked ideal and kind of homely, it's a mess. A damn mess with all but two of them dead. Killed by Injuns who's seen them as invaders, no doubt. We're just skimming the tale here, so we'll press on without too much detail. They say old Jeremiah and his boy chanced upon old Del Jew, with nothing but his head sticking out of the ground some time later. That's Jew with an E, mind.
Are you all right?
Sure, I got a fine horse under me.
Del, with his friendly talk and pleasing nature, might not be wholly believable or trustworthy, but hell, it's hard not to give a guy a dig out when he's in a hole nonetheless.
Haven't seen anyone pass by recent, have you?
Nobody's gone in front of me. Can't say what's happened behind me, though.
Huh? The Injuns put you here?
Name's Del Jew, with an E. Bonjour, Grand Chef.
Together, all three are having themselves something of an encounter over yonder in Injun way.
Fleet.
It all goes surprisingly well until Jeremiah goes and gives away some things that prove so valuable that the chief has no option but to trade Jeremiah his daughter for them. What else would any decent man of honour do? Saying goodbye to the father-in-law and adieu to old Jew, the new family head on out further into the wilderness together, wherein they learn how to get along and enjoy one another's company, and have tea and play games. Yes, sir, they had them quite the habitat at that. That is, until the cavalry come. Old Whitey, whether meaning to or not, has a habit of sticking his foot in where it's never welcome and never safe to do so. We might expect these guys to be bad uns, and we wouldn't be totally wrong, but truth is, they're only doing what they feel they have to do in order to rescue them there pilgrims that got themselves holed up in a mountain pass that's liable to kill 'em if they're not rescued as soon as... What else could a half-respectable mountain dweller who's been only recently reminded of his civilized past be expected to do? Now, while we're still mid-mission, what better moment could there be for this here intermission? We've been through it, there's no doubt, but let's take this moment to reflect some, make use of them there bush leaves if we got 'em, and maybe find to fixing some refreshment amongst the whitewater rolling rivers. Remember what I said earlier about this storytelling technique called a chiasmus? Jeremiah Johnson isn't just a straightforward journey tale. Here is where the writers, director Sydney Pollack, and those involved in the technical aspects of this movie prove their worth in knowing how to present a tale that is perfectly in sync with itself and with the nature of ways this story must be told. Up to now, we've been mere witnesses. From here on, we'll be participating some. We'll relive old memories. We'll see the consequences of our actions and, with any luck, we'll arrive at something of an understanding of this here world, and maybe of our luck, and something of the privilege we have in having some small part in it. So maybe you'll happen upon a bucket of them there whatchamacall popcorn over at yonder kiosk. But don't be dilly-dallying none, mind, 'cause we got ourselves more journeying to be doing, and that's no lie. No sirree, Bob. No lie. Thankfully, their mission is a success, but at what price? Jeremiah bids farewell to the troops and heads back home, back to the family that's waiting for him. Oops, that's the end of the family, I'm afraid. Nothing doing but to have something of an engine encounter. We'll show 'em. A nice little interlude happens here, with Crow warriors attempting to off Jeremiah for his transgressive ways. Until, one day, who happens next to cross our trail? Only Del Jew, with an E. This time with her. He's learnt a thing or two, and clearly notes Johnson has done likewise.
Where are you headed?
Same place you are, Jeremiah. Hell, in the end.
Settlers. Like the crew he came across first time, this lot are back in the house of the old mad lady he got the son from. This lot clearly are no better, and likely will last as long. Now what you think done wandered in out of the snow next? But old man Bearclaw himself. If your heart doesn't skip a beat at the sight of him after all these years, I reckon you're less human than old Jeremiah. We'd have given $1 to the nickel that old buzzard be long gone to his maker by now. But no way. They need to make tougher mountains if they want to knock down this grizzly bear hunter.
Were it worth the trouble?
trouble.
Just when you think you've seen it all, one day you look around, and that old chiasmus brings it all home to you in the form of none other than paints his shirt red, eyeing you up from afar. Now he's looking not at a juvenile who can't catch a fish, but at a mighty warrior who earned his home in these hills. We see in old Johnson what paints his shirt red does, what we see in ourselves now that we've been through it too. And just before we remember that we aren't Jeremiah Johnson, for a moment there, we are up there in those mountains, at one with Injuns, at one with eagles and bears, and free as the mountain breeze. Now we might say that any journey story works in the same way, since a character retraces their steps as they return home. But remember, Jeremiah Johnson isn't returning. He is never going back to a town. Almost none of the characters we meet first time are in the same place when we meet them later. It isn't simply a happy accident that these events match so perfectly. Even on those irony-filled youngsters brought up on the excellent Red Dead Redemption, looky here to see the original for much of what you appreciated in that game. Give it a go. It's a journey you'll experience twice in one sitting, and it'll live and prove its effect on you as you go.